when a church looks to the future, and it focuses not on what's in our own best interest, what keeps us comfortable, what meets our needs, but looks at the generations after us, generations that will outlive us, and we act now in what is in their best interest, we really do exercise a faith in Emmanuel, God with us. And that's how we find hope. You know, St. Luke's has spent a good bit of time this year in 2021 looking to the future. We've engaged in a future visioning process that you're going to be hearing a lot more about next month. Starting January the 8th, I'm going to lead a series on our future vision, which we will lay out on January the 30th. We've got different teams working on some of those goals, and part of those goals involves our mission outreach. Well, recently, these teams came together to give an update on the strategies and the goals that are being considered. And when Pastor Nicole and Lisa Rockesy shared information about what they are discovering about the needs of our society that we will feel called as a church to reach, I just found this information fascinating, and I asked them to share it with us today.
As Pastor Rob has shared, the Christmas story reminds us that God's mission has always been to invest in the lives of those coming after us. And as God's people, we're called to join that mission today. Lisa Rockesy, one of our outreach ministry leaders, and I began to work with our team on the needs in our community. And we learned of a startling statistic that we believe is pointing us to where and who God is calling us to next.
We learned that Indiana has one of the highest infant mortality rates in all of the United States. This rating puts us on par with the infant mortality rates in developing countries from the former Soviet Union. And what's worse is that this infant death rate is double for children of color and children living in poverty. Now, the infant mortality rate is so significant because it's what social scientists call a keystone measurement, or a statistic that's an indicator of the overall health or brokenness of a system of resources. So if a community has a high infant mortality rate, it's an indicator that the housing, education, food, and healthcare resources are not effectively supporting families. And the ones who pay with their lives are infants and children.
But here's what we also learned. If we want to turn the tide on infant mortality in our community, we have to begin with diapers. Now, this is how you know that this is God's mission and not Lisa or mine. Because of the 5 children that we have between us that are all out of diapers, we swore that we would never, ever, ever go back.
But here it is, and we hope you'll navigate that challenge with us, because providing diapers is a nightmare for many mothers in Indianapolis today. In fact, a mother working full-time with a minimum wage salary will spend 30% of her income just on diapers. And of all our federal programs for low-income parents, none of them cover diapers. This creates what's called the diaper deficit, where families cannot provide children with this basic need, and a whole host of physical and mental challenges compound and contribute to a rising infant mortality rate.
And so, we envision that our church will join God's mission to invest in the lives of children by addressing the contributing factors of infant mortality and opening a diaper pantry right here at St. Luke's. Now, don't get me wrong, mothers won't just come here and receive a handout and leave. No, we imagine that every registered mother of our diaper pantry will have access to our Crooked Creek Food Pantry, to Freedom School, Back to School Extravaganza, Luke's Leaders, Angel Tree, English as a New Language, and our benevolence ministries, so that our church begins to wrap each family with resources that help children to not only survive, but to thrive throughout their childhoods.
We will be a place where families in poverty experience that the lives of their children matter to God, and this church will wrap its arms around them like Jesus wraps his arms around us.
I don't know how you found that information, but it was just fascinating to me. So in the future, we're going to hear about this. We're going to hear about diapers. We're going to hear about ways we can be involved in rescuing children and all of the many other ministries to support families.